wide variety of pictures, ads. We even got to see a masturbation video of Bianca. All was sort of retraced in this citizen journalistic effort. Third strategy, the objectivation of female bodies. We saw a very classic way of looking at and judging mainly female bodies. And of course, Bianca, as a prostitute, bore the grunt of her position because there was a permanent critique on her ugliness, which I find quite problematic. And the kind of statements that are being made are not the most civilized statements you can see. Finally, and I will be brief about this, because this is probably the least important strategy, it was about the way people talked about management, or more importantly, the way quite often they didn't talk about the management. There were still some comments that fleshed out different kind of management strategies, but they were very isolated. In these cases, one could argue they were also used to disidentify with the participants, because then they, of course, even more than before, became seen as docile bodies. They not necessarily became seen as the most active citizens in the world. And also that strategy strengthened this notion of disidentification. So in conclusion, what did we get to see? Well, I would argue we got to see in the way that people talked about the program, we got to see a very rigid morality. We got to see intolerance and stigmatization. I think we got to see a very conservative perspective, which was based on a photonegativistic logic. It was about condemning a sort of interruption of social order, which was mainly based, I would again argue, on the hegemony of monogamy. But what's more important in my story, I think we saw a very anti-empathic program, which also strengthened a very anti-empathic response. This was and is a program that cannibalizes on the social and in many cases convicts the participants, disidentifies them, dehumanizes them, and makes participation in itself highly problematic. It of course raises questions about professional ethics. Obviously that it does as well. But it also raises questions about these forms of participation. Clearly they were not doing the participants a favor. Thank you.